Ready as ever.
Okay, guys, so hello and welcome back to Courage Dear Heart with Charli Wall. We are live streaming in my free Facebook community. She finds freedom from habits, self-loathing and anxiety. And today I'm joined by the very wonderful Michelle. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi. Hello, people.
How are you feeling?
Yes, probably gone a bit dry at the mouth at the moment, but I've got my water by my side.
Hurrah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, but apart from that, yeah, all good.
Good. I'm really pleased, and I'm really, really honoured to have you here, Michelle. And I don't know if you've listened to any of my podcasts before, but I always ask everyone the same question at the beginning. What does the word courage mean for you?
I suppose since being sober, it's because I could have just carried on doing what I was doing before, which were not going out, and I kind of said, "Oh, I'm not going out because I drink," and it weren't really. I weren't feeling it.
Mm.
So I think courage for me personally were saying to myself, you still can do that. You can go out. You don't need to be paranoid about what other people think. So me stepping out the door were probably harder in a way than stopping drinking, because I just stayed in out, and I have been in house a lot at first when I did first stop, but then I've been getting out and about with my puppy, and my friends have been coming to pick me up and take me out to lunch, and yeah, I'm a lady who lunches now. People are going to have to stop talking to me.
Well, before we get into all of that, thank you for answering that question. And I heard you say that it's taken courage for you to get out the house. So I appreciate that very
Yeah,
much.
it had become quite a comfort area for me to just dwell on things and not face anything. The house was, I've been able to do stuff in the house, which has helped me declutter my mind as well as decluttering things around me. When I've chucked things out, it's like I've chucked them out my head as well. It's cool.
Well, so what I want you to tell anyone who's listening and the ladies in the group, what was life like for you when you first came across me, and how long ago was that?
Ooh. Well, it was before the pandemic, so possibly around 3 years, maybe longer, because I joined, then didn't join, then joined, and then didn't join. Yeah, it were a bit of a battle to sort of keep me sort of coming back. But I saw something when I first saw you and we first talked. I just knew that what you were saying, I knew were going to help me. I just didn't know when. But I've been through a lot of different therapies and other things like that, and it's nice to talk about things and get things off your chest, but it's not the same as putting them away and moving forward, which is one thing I've never been able to do. I've never been able to put it away and move forward. It's always still been baggage that I've carried around with me. So for me, when I first come across you, that were where I were. I just got all this baggage that just weighed me down mentally and physically. And I didn't go nowhere. I didn't do anything. And if I did leave house, I never made an effort. I just went out in pajamas, my dressing gown. I did the bare minimum that I had to, cooking wise and cleaning wise. Yeah, it was pretty horrible. To to be honest with you. When I first met you, I was pretty lost in my own mind.
And what was the impact of that on you at that point, Michelle?
Well, I felt worthless. I felt ugly, fat, ashamed, guilty, paranoid. God, I'd sort of made, if for want of wording, like a little hell for myself. Just everything that I didn't want suddenly came to me because I was doing stuff that I didn't want to do. I was agreeing to things that I didn't want to do. I was staying away from things that I wanted to do. I was pushing people away. I was isolating myself from everybody that cared about me. And I was just like Alice in Wonderland going down that rabbit hole. But there were no light at end of tunnel. That's what I thought at the time anyway, is for me, there were no light at end of tunnel. I couldn't see past what I was going through and what my story were. That's all I told people. It were Michelle, the drinker, Michelle that had trauma, a lot of trauma, and that were my story. And every time I met somebody new, it were first things they knew about me were that I'd got a drinking problem and that I'd got baggage. Nah, I've got a different story.
Well, we're going to come to that. So can you remember when you said that, you've been through lots of therapies and nothing at that point had worked. Can you remember what it was about my message, or I know you and I had a conversation. Can you remember what resonated in your soul at that point?
The other places I'd been to, it were always, in my heart, I knew there was a different way to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. And when I found you, I realized that was the way that I wanted to do it. These other things, it were working from outside in. It were always sending me home with pieces of paper. How much do you drink? How much did you spend? How did you feel when you had a drink? How did you feel after you'd had a drink? Or when I were down, or I were having flashbacks and things like that, or bad dreams, how I felt at the time, and writing things down. And it just sent so much hard work. And then, to be honest with you, I just couldn't be arsed. I just woke up next morning and just thought, why am I filling all this crap in? I'm just, making myself go to these appointments, telling these people exactly what they wanted to hear. Oh yeah, I'm doing this. Oh yeah, I'm doing that. And I weren't doing nothing. I weren't doing nothing at all. I was filling these sheets in, and I was just making it all up. And that's how I was turning up, just with all these lies and stuff, because it didn't click. There were nothing that they said that resonated with me at all. And that's when I started looking elsewhere, and that's when I found you. And then when we got chatting, I realized that there were another way, and that way just seemed a lot easier and a lot nicer on myself than what the other way was. The other way was all about like writing all your, let's all write down all this negative stuff. And everyone can come up with loads of negative things about themselves, and positives are few and far between. So writing, pros and cons of this, that, and it would just, I just hated it. I hated it. And at the time, I'd got people involved with my family, and I needed to fill these things in and do these things. And it were just for everybody else. I weren't doing nothing for myself. I didn't believe that it were going to change me. I knew that it weren't going to do anything. So I didn't put any effort in whatsoever. I didn't turn up, didn't do no. And that were it.
So you came across me.
Yes. So your lovely little face on Facebook, and I just read a few things, looked through a few photos and I thought, do you know, this sounds more like something that I could believe in. The other stuff, I know it is hard to grasp when you first start going on about it. When I got a bit deeper with you, with the three principles and that, I was like, she crazy. She crazy. But then I realized,
you're not the first one to suggest that.
oh dear. But after a while, just keep coming back to it. And I knew there were a reason why I kept coming back. And it's because every time I did come back, I found something new, something, you know, resonated with it, whether it's something that you said, something that another lady had said, something that you put on that were from a book, or, you know, the group, you know, things when I didn't talk at first and I won't put my hand up, but like a lot of people do when they first start. But then you hear something in what the other ladies are saying, or you hear something in what you're saying, and you think, oh yeah. And then you realize that you're not alone. Even with those other therapies, I know that they're there, and for some people they may work, I don't know, but you're doing it, and you're doing it by yourself. That's how you feel. That's how I felt. It was such a lonely road, just turning up to appointments with people that you didn't get time to have a relationship with. Here you've got a community, you've got people that are genuinely concerned about like what's going off here and whatnot, and me back as well. It pulled me a bit out of my shell to show that I'd also got that in me to care about other people and not isolate myself so much. And because I used to put things on and then go, oh no, I've said too much, I must escape. And then I'd disappear for about 3 weeks because I used to feel really vulnerable when I shared. And then, but as I kept sharing, that went, and yeah.
You've got a little fan club. I'm sure there's a few people, if I look, yeah, you've got a little fan club. They're all commenting on this live. Oh, so you joined the 8-week Finding Freedom from Habits and Anxiety program. That was the first thing you joined, and I know it took a lot for you to do that. It was a financial investment. It was an investment in your time. What was it that had you sign up for that in the end?
I was really looking for something, and because I know there were 2 options as well, and one was a cheaper one, and I was looking at that because I thought, oh God, funds. And then I just remember speaking to you, and it just made me think that it's not always about money or what we think about. It's an investment in us, whether it's free or whether it's costing you something financially or whatever. I've never really invested anything in myself. And it was the first time that I'd actually done something that was really positive for me. And yes, I found, knew I was going to struggle, but I have got a really supportive family. There's only a couple of them. But my dad and my mum helped me out being able to do that 8-week program. And I'll be forever grateful, because that really did send me on that path to find out more and give me that kind of thirst of thinking, oh yeah, I'm starting to get this now. Things are starting to change. Things are starting to happen. And it really rate tiny things that anybody else would like go, all right. Now people were looking at me going, she crazy. She crazy.
So tell me, what did you get from doing the program?
Oh, a lot of encouragement, that doing some of the things that I knew that I wasn't going crazy, and that it's hard to understand that your thoughts are not really yours, because I've always taken them so personally, so personally. They've always I think that was the only thing that was holding me back, is that a lot of the other things I thought, yeah, I get that. But then this, I thought, how can they be wrong? They're in my head. How can they not be telling me truth? I know what the truth is and what ain't the truth, you know? And that was kind of the leading up to that, as I took more classes and listened to more things, it was like that repetitiveness that it just kept coming back and then coming back and coming back, and it makes you think, but not think like that thing. Think, is there something? There's something must be in that. Something that is in that, and I'm going to find out what it is. And that's what kept me going. Just that, like being a kid again, when you find something that's like brand new and you go, wow, yeah, I'm having some of that. Or like yeah, like something like that. It was, you know, and that was the proper start of my journey, really, because I'd got a bit more access to you, which meant that I could have conversations with you that I couldn't have with other people because they just didn't understand. And as well, I suppose you don't want to, like, what's the word? Just because they don't understand, you don't want to get like frustrated with him. So I didn't want to talk to like friends and family about some of the stuff because it were personal, and I knew that possibly, like, you know, when you talk about your thoughts and how serious them thoughts can be sometimes, your family and your friends aren't always the best people to talk to because they're too close to you. So having someone there that I could be open with, I've probably been more open with you and with the ladies in this group than I probably ever have before. But it took me a while to feel that it were a safe place, and I think that's what I got from the program as well, is that I realized it were a safe place for me to open up and try and figure out who I was and what I was here for. And yeah.
Well, you actually didn't buy the most basic package. You bought the package that had one-to-one with me.
I thought, let's go the whole hog. If we're going to do it, let's do it. Yeah. I don't think my mum and dad were that pleased about that. But yeah, I did. I thought, go for it top shelf, because if you're going to do it, you might as well do it. And I've loved speaking to you, and you know, it were a really supportive place to be, because like I could leave you a message and it didn't matter what, I knew that you'd see it and I knew that you'd get back to me. It were that knowing as well that I weren't on my own, that I could leave you something and go, and that you'd get back to me, or that we'd end up having a conversation, or it'd get mentioned in a group, session or something, and you were always heard, I were always answered. So I weren't being, my feelings and my thoughts weren't being brushed aside like you can get with a lot of other, therapies and stuff. It's like I finally I found my voice, and it were that, I think, that I found as well in that program, is I finally found my voice, and it made me a bit more confident to say what I mean, instead of just being little Michelle that just goes, oh yeah, all right then, if that's what's happening, that's what's happening, and just accepting things. How I thought, why am I doing that? Why am I accepting other people's shit? I've got crap, I've got stuff. Why is it me that's got to help everybody with their stuff, but yet nobody's helping me with mine? And then it gave me a voice, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to stop doing that, and I'm going to invest in myself. I'm gonna, not that I don't want to invest in other people, don't get me wrong, it weren't like that, but it was the wrong kind of energy. I was letting people take my energy, and then I didn't have none for myself. And that's why I weren't in a good place, because I couldn't do anything, or I felt that I couldn't do anything. And then this program made me realize that I can do whatever I want. I just have to believe that I can. And that's the turning point, is that belief. It took me a while, but it did come. And I suppose I always knew it would do, I just didn't know when.
Well, I remember when we had the guest, Kathy Casey.
Yeah, love
She
her.
said to me, she actually came twice, and she said to me, because she said, Michelle's just on the edge. She's on the edge. I can feel it. She's really, really close. So I was like, Michelle, you've got to come to the second one because she's coming back.
Yeah, no, I remember that. And I didn't even think that I would just, like, you think, oh, you're just mumbling on, you're just, saying stuff, and it's, but yeah, even while through the drinking and stuff, it were to in and froing, because it's like a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde thing with the drink. When I were drinking, when I was sober, I could see what I needed to see, but when I was drunk, I just thought, no, I don't need none of that. I can just stop whenever I want to. I ain't got no problems. I'll just carry on drinking this strong cider and everything will be all right when I wake up in the morning. And obviously it wasn't. That is my pooch. I'm sorry if you can hear him.
Don't worry, don't worry. So then you joined the circle group, and then things really took a turn, didn't they? So tell us what life has been like for you for the past couple of months.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've done something. It was a normal Saturday night. Had a drink, did my usual, ate too much food, went to bed. Sometimes the life that I led at the time was, I'd get up in the morning. I would mooch. Well, no, not in the morning. That's a lie. I get up in the morning now. I can see there's 2 a.m.s, there's 2 10s in a day. But I would get up mid-afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock. I would go to the shop, usually in a taxi, because I felt that I couldn't walk there because of my weight, and I was embarrassed to be outside. I thought that people would laugh at me, see me struggling up road or something. So I would get a taxi, I would buy my cider, I would come home, and then I would drink that, and then I would eat loads of food. I would go to bed. I would get up the next day. Sometimes I would throw up because I would have eaten too much food and it wouldn't have digested through the night. I would barely eat anything in the day, sometimes a bit of cereal. I would then go to the shop, buy my drink, overeat. It was like that. It was Groundhog Day every day. It was just awful, to be honest with you. And every day I was like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going in the direction that I want to be going. And yeah, the normal Saturday night, there were nothing different about it. Woke up the Sunday and this thought just come in my head. And I just said, oh, I need to go to the shop. Why? Why do you need to go to the shop? What do you need from the shop? Well, I need booze. Well, no, you don't. You don't drink anymore. What? I don't drink anymore. All right. Got to about 5 o'clock. Didn't think about going to the shop. Got to 6 o'clock. Got to 7 o'clock. Now, usually by this time, I am anxious. I'm sweating. I am, need to get to the shop. What's going to happen if I don't drink? Oh, awful, awful thoughts going through my head about what would happen. What's gonna if I don't have a drink. And I think went on my phone for a bit, maybe played a few games to pass the time, and that was the first night, and I didn't drink.
How long ago was that?
I just couldn't believe it. I have, for the past at least 6 years, not gone a day without having a drink. And I know this, I don't want anyone to think this is not a clever thing, but I had faith in my body that I knew that I could stop. I know some people, I don't want to advocate that anyone that's drinking really heavily, you know, everyone's body's different and some people can, you know, but when I have stopped drinking before in the past, my body really does get rid of alcohol really quickly. I don't know why, but it does. And I knew that already. So I knew that if I did feel anything, it was probably going to be more from the chemicals that were in the cider rather than the actual alcohol. So yeah, I don't advocate that you just stop for like anybody, but I knew that was okay for me, and it was a road that I knew that I could go down, and I did. And the next day, it was the same thing. And yes, I didn't go out for probably the first week, because I kept thinking, this can't be. I'm going to walk out tomorrow. I'm going to go to shop and I'm going to go and get some cider. This is just not happening. And a week passed. Then I knew I had to go to the shop because I needed cat biscuits. And I'm thinking, oh God. And then all thoughts came in. You're going to go to, you know, shop. Anyway, went to the shop. It didn't even cross my mind. I was so focused on other things that I'd got to do and other things that I needed to do. And I even joked with the guy that works behind the counter, and he said, he like looked because my shopping bag weren't my basket had got no cider in it, and he went, I says, I know, I've stopped drinking. And he went, how am I going to pay my bills if you're not buying booze off me every day? And I went, well, you're just going to have to find some other sucker that's coming in that's willing to drink, 4 to 5 litres of cider a day like I were doing at the time. And had a little laugh and a joke about it. And as I've seen him now, because I go in quite often, but not for booze, he's like, you're still going strong? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I can't believe it. Because I've lived in this house for 6 years. So he's known me as a customer for that time that just goes in and buys cider. So
such an amazing, it's just so amazing. It's been such a privilege to walk this journey beside you for the last couple of years, and to see the sort of incremental changes that you've made to now being sober. So how's life for you now, Michelle?
100 times better. I've lost a bit of weight. I've been going out walking. I walk to the shop and back, and I used to get a taxi and it used to cost me a £5. And I walk there and back now. I take my dog out every day. He's old, so it's only for a little walk, but he loves it. He moans so much when I get up now. Are we going out? Are we going out? That's more that I get from him, and then he just looks at me with eyes. Are we going out? So yeah, and it's just, and more positive, because I'm more positive, I'm attracting more positive things. So I don't seem to, when I do have thoughts like that, or I've obviously had them, and got a bit scared and thought, oh crap, what if I did go to shop and buy something? And I thought, why are you worrying? That's not going to happen, because it's not something that you want to do. So now I've got belief in myself. I don't want to drink. Drink don't bring me happiness. Drink doesn't bring me anything. It doesn't. I need love. I need people. I need me. I need my family. Things like that are things that I need, things that I want. I don't want to drink. I don't need to drink. So it's not something that I'm going to bring back into my life. And healthier, happier, I can't think of what else, but yeah. Oh, and I've had more money to myself. So I have been investing in my home, because being a full-time drinker, meant that my house suffered terribly, hoarding all sorts of crap that, honestly. But I've had friends that helped me in the first place because it was really bad. But now it's down to a minimum that I can handle myself. So I've got myself a laptop, what I'm using today.
Oh.
I got myself a new TV because my ex walked in my house and took mine off the wall. He's a very nice chap. So I invested. I got myself a TV because I'd got Sky, but I couldn't watch anything because I'd no TV. So I was paying for that. I've got a new TV. I washed all my sofa cushions.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
got it's a beauty. It was looking ridiculous and scruffy and horrible. I wouldn't even sit on it myself. And cleaned it all up, bought some throws so that the puppy, that he can still, do his thing on it and have a nice rest. So I come in, I'm proud to invite people in. I would never invite anybody into my house before because it smelled of dog, it smelled musty because of the dust, and the amount of stuff was just, the amount of black bags I have chucked out of this house since I've stopped drinking is unmanageable. But it's been done and I've done it. And I'm proud to call this house my home now, because it's feeling every day more like a home than just somewhere that I drank.
Oh gosh, that is just, I might have to use that line in the title. I am so happy for you. I'm so proud that you're a part of my community. I'm so chuffed that you chose me to work with, and you're now in the circle community as well, and you are a strong part of our community, and it's just been incredible to watch you evolve. And you always have this amazing wisdom. I always heard this wisdom through the
through the mist. Through the side fog.
Yeah. I could always hear it. I don't know if you could, but I could always hear it. And I always did know that this was going to be the outcome. What would you say, Michelle, to anyone who's thinking of joining the program on October the 11th?
Probably one of the best things that I ever did. Regardless of any financial, whatever, if you really want to do it, you'll find a way. And if you need help, just, ask a friend, ask a family member, and just go in there 100%. Just invest in yourself and just see what happens. Just, like I said, a kid in a sweet shop, you know what I mean? Just go in there and just look around at what's available and see what it does for you, because everyone's different, so everyone's going to take something different from it. But I guarantee you that you will get something from it, because there's something there for everybody, even though you probably think that there is something there. Something will click with you, and it might not be while you're doing the cut. Like with me, it were ages after I'd done the program, but I knew. And it's a very brilliantly constructed, beautiful sometimes, with some stuff that you listen to, and some meditations that there's as well that you can do. And I listened to a lot of the meditations because I did struggle with sleeping and with just being quiet, because my head were always full of some crap. And I never thought that I could be quiet up there, but yeah, I can, and I do, and it's brilliant.
Well, I so appreciate you coming on and doing this podcast interview and sharing your story of courage and hope. And you are an inspiration, and you will be to lots of women, I suspect. And anyone that comes and does the Freedom Program, that has its own private Facebook group with all the ex-participants in anyway, so they might get to see you in there.
Yes, I know.
So, any last words before we sign it off?
Thank you, Charli. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate every single word that any of you have left for me, for encouragement, for coming forward. I was a bit nervous about doing this, but I'm glad that I did. It's another tick on my list of things that I've accomplished that I would have never have done a few months ago. So onwards and upwards, I think.
Onwards and upwards.
Life is a roller coaster, just gotta ride it.
You need to go and have a look at the comments in the Facebook group, because you have, as I said, a little fan club there, which is amazing. And I'm going to say goodbye from me, everybody. Thank you so much to Michelle, who's just been incredible, as I knew you would be. And thank you, ladies, for watching live and supporting her. And if you're listening on the podcast and you want to join us for that 8-week Finding Freedom program, we will start on October the 11th. And I open registration up on October the 4th. So this coming Monday. Ooh. Love you loads. Thank you so much. Bye.